Psalm 132 is a psalm that reflects on the covenant God made with David regarding the establishment of his dynasty. The psalmist begins by recalling David's devotion to finding a dwelling place for the Lord, expressing his desire to find a suitable resting place for the Ark of the Covenant. David's earnest desire to honor God and provide him with a dwelling place is highlighted, underscoring his commitment to God's presence among his people. In the midst of this reflection, the psalmist recalls the covenant God made with David, promising to establish his descendants on the throne forever. He recounts how David sought to fulfill his vow to the Lord, refusing to rest until he had found a dwelling place for the God of Jacob. This determination reflects David's deep reverence and devotion to God's presence among his people. The psalmist then recalls the joyous occasion when the Ark of the Covenant was brought to Zion. He describes how the people rejoiced and worshipped before the Lord, celebrating his presence among them. This momentous event is remembered as a fulfillment of God's promise to David, affirming his faithfulness to establish David's dynasty forever. The psalm concludes with a prayer for God's continued blessing and favor upon David's descendants. The psalmist invokes a blessing upon the descendants of David, affirming his desire for God to reign over them forever. He expresses his hope that God will fulfill his promises to David, establishing his throne and kingdom forever. Psalm 132 serves as a reflection on God's covenant with David and his faithfulness to establish his presence among his people, inviting all to rejoice in his sovereignty and provision. Let's now read Psalms chapter 132. A Song of Degrees. Lord, remember David, and all his afflictions. How he sware unto the Lord, and vowed unto the mighty God of Jacob. Surely I will not come into the tabernacle of my house, nor go up into my bed. I will not give sleep to mine eyes, or slumber to mine eyelids, until I find out a place for the Lord, an habitation for the mighty God of Jacob. Lo, we heard of it at Ephrata, we found it in the fields of the wood. We will go into his tabernacles, we will worship at his footstool. Arise, O Lord, into thy rest, thou, and the ark of thy strength. Let thy priests be clothed with righteousness, and let thy saints shout for joy. For thy servant David's sake turn not away the face of thine anointed. The Lord hath sworn in truth unto David, he will not turn from it, of the fruit of thy body will I set upon thy throne. If thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony that I shall teach them, their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore. For the Lord hath chosen Zion, he hath desired it for his habitation. This is my rest forever, here will I dwell, for I have desired it. I will abundantly bless her provision, I will satisfy her poor with bread. I will also clothe her priests with salvation, and her saints shall shout aloud for joy. There will I make the horn of David to bud, I have ordained a lamp for mine anointed. His enemies will I clothe with shame, but upon himself shall his crown flourish. This ends our reading of Psalms chapter 132.